Penn State football. Too talented not to be good, just successful enough to keep James Franklin around, but maybe too flawed to be elite. Welcome to the Voice of College Football. We break down the game we all love each and every day with you. Best discussion, debate, and analysis of college football based on your contribution. Please support the channel, like the videos, share the videos out on social media, subscribe to the Voice of College Football. Penn State, for their second consecutive season, has defeated a Big Ten conference foe on the road in a tough environment to start the season. Of course, they got off to a great start last year and then fizzled down the stretch. This time it's a win over Purdue, 35-31 in dramatic fashion. Sean Clifford was bad enough to seemingly blow the game with a awful pick six interception, but in the end he redeemed himself, pulled it out with a tremendous drive on a night when we saw the heir apparent Drew Aller get into the game and throw a few passes around just well enough to see what the future could be for Penn State football, and it looks pretty bright with Drew Aller. Penn State's defense was good for most of the night. I know they gave up 31 points. I get that. Really 24 points, including the Clifford pick six. But consider this. This defense was elite at times last year. They have recruited well on that side of the football for the last few years under James Franklin. 7 NFL draft selections left in 2022. They had injuries last year. That's what pretty much challenged this defense. Now they've got Manny Diaz running the show, and he wasn't quite as aggressive last night as a lot of people thought that he would be with this group. That includes, of course, one of the best cornerbacks in college football, Joey Porter, 8 tackles last night, and 3 passes defense. Jair Brown, he also gets it done in the secondary. Keaton Ellis had 3 passes defense. Tremendous talent across the board for Penn State on the defensive side of the ball. Consider that Aiden O'Connell, probably the second best quarterback in the Big Ten, one of the 5 to 10 best college football quarterbacks, 29 of 58. That's only 50%. Aiden O'Connell completed 72% of his passes last year, 356 yards. Sure, that's a lot of yardage, but on 58 pass attempts, Penn State pretty much contained the Purdue offense. Now let's go to the Penn State offense. Sean Clifford, beaten and battered, criticized by a lot of people, a lot of detractors for Sean Clifford. Of course, Penn State has only won 11 of its last 22 games going into the Purdue game. And Sean Clifford, of course, gets the praise as the quarterback and gets the blame. So much of the blame with 11-11 goes to Sean Clifford, but he didn't have the support of a running game last year. It was deplorable. The offensive line was bad. He got beat up. His play suffered down the stretch. He had to be more runner than any of the running backs in the backfield. He had to carry the offense. 20 of 37 for 282. A lot of dropped passes. So consider that in the 20 of 37 evaluation. And then he sailed the interception with about 5 minutes left to Chris Jefferson for the pick six that put Purdue in control at that point. Badly thrown football on that one. And even the previous series on a 3rd and 6, missed his man, threw it behind him. He threw some bad balls the final couple drives. It looked as though he was having maybe a legacy drive of sorts, the final 3 possessions, and he came up short up until the very end when he really, truly needed it. Hit on 6 of 7 passes, a few of them high in difficulty, floated the last one right over the linebacker in the one-on-one situation for the game winner, 35-31 with 57 seconds on the clock. Big win for Sean Clifford, big win for Penn State. They need a running game. We went into this game thinking Purdue can throw it 50 or 60 times, not have a running game, and they've won like this before. But Penn State, it's Penn State football, and it's not going to be a prolific passing attack. They need to be able to run the ball. They couldn't do it last year. They haven't been able to run the ball in recent years. Nicholas Singleton, the guy that everybody wants to see, the number 1 running back coming out of the 22 recruiting class, 9 carries, 22 yards. Looked really sharp the first couple of carries. Split the defense, got 6-8 yards on the first few carries, but was bottled up after that. But Nicholas Singleton, first look, looking good. And Katron Allen, the freshman, a nice compliment to Singleton as well. This is a Penn State team that is quite intriguing. They passed the first test of the season. Sure, it was flawed, it was ugly, it was uneven, but in the end, winning against a quality Big Ten team on the road in the opener, that's all pluses. I don't care how they got it done. They got it done with a drive by their much maligned quarterback, who, when it counted after 3 bad drives, pulled through 6 of 7 to lead the game-winning drive, stop on defense to end the game. So all pluses for Penn State in the end in a 35-31 win over Purdue. On September 17th, in 2 weeks, it's a trip to Auburn. Now, because of the win early in the season, if they go to Auburn and notch another win against a quality opponent, I know that the Tigers are down by SEC Western Division standards, but Auburn is loaded with talent and a much different opponent than Purdue. In that environment, one of the toughest in college football, Jordan-Hare Stadium, Penn State comes back with a win at 2-0. Then look at their Big Ten schedule. Of course, it's difficult, but consider only Michigan out of the difficult opponents is on the road. Ohio State, Michigan State, Minnesota, and Happy Valley. Let's talk up Penn State right here at the Voice of College Football. Leave those comments down below, and we will see you soon.